All right. So I'm super excited you guys are here. This is only our second team call that we've ever had just with our private team. We've had all the other team calls. There's so many calls going on that I try not to overwhelm, but we're really excited to be here. I'm glad to see all of your faces. I want to shout out a couple of people. I have 3 people to shout out tonight. And the first one is Brittany Spalding, who just hit team leader today. So congratulations, super excited. She's been working really hard and just being consistent, which we all know pays off if you show up consistently. Candace Bowman, says her wrong last name on there, but Candace Bowman is leading the way with her team and also the highest PQB right now on the team. So that's really exciting to see. And then Brittany Tyler. So we got the Brittany crew tonight. Brittany Tyler has recruited, I think, 4 advocates this month, 3 or 4, but she's the top recruiter this month. So far, we have a whole nother week, you guys. I'm super excited about what's to bring for the end of the month. And we have some new people that I wanted to introduce tonight. So we have Pam, my friend Pam. Wave to everybody, Pam. Yeah, she's our first time on a team call too. We have Isabella, which I think goes by Bella. Is that right? Bella, yay. I'm so excited. I haven't even met her yet, but she's with Brittany's team. And I think that's it for new faces tonight. Although Charlotte, I'm not sure you've been on a team call yet, have you? Nope, Charlotte. Well, Charlotte's new to the team call too. This is only our second team call, so pretty much we're all new here, right? But anyway, tonight I'm really excited. Vanessa Bowden came graciously to give us a training on part of Green Compass that is new to us, which is hosting live GC socials. I think back in the day, they were probably called parties, but they're a lot more updated and cool. And actually, Vanessa brought this to Green Compass. This is her system. So when she was telling us about that the other day, we were really excited that she was willing to come on and give us a training on it, because I know a lot of us are new to that, including us. So we are going to be taking notes and just really excited to open up and get uncomfortable and do these things to grow really big businesses, you guys. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to let her do the talking and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. So hello, everybody. I apologize if there's like kind of music in the background. I am the mother to 3 teenagers, and my 15-year-old son is working out in the basement, and I was yelling down like, please lower the music. And he lowered it. But for some reason, the acoustics from the basement literally like pumped directly to my office. So if you hear loud rap music, that's the reason why. Real life, right? So let me just give you guys a little bit about my background before we get started, so that you kind of know where I'm coming from as I lay this out for you guys. So I've been with Green Compass in a variety of different corporate roles for about 2.5 years now. But before that, I spent I've been in the industry about 15 years, and the rest of my time has been in the field. So I started when I have 3 children. I have twins who are 15 and a half, and I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old daughter as well. And I started in this industry when I was literally not even pregnant yet with my 3rd child. So my twins were, about a year old. 14 months old, I found out I was pregnant with my 3rd baby, and I was on maternity leave from teaching. I was a 5th grade teacher. And I literally got started in this industry because I needed to make a few $1,000s a month and replace my teaching income to take 1 more year off from school. So I was supposed to go back to work the following September. I wanted 1 more year of maternity leave, and I really needed, we had to live on 2 incomes. So I started to build a business in direct selling with no intention of ever leaving my career, retiring from my job. I just thought I need 1 year. Well, fast forward, I never went back to that teaching job. I replaced that income yearly, and then eventually went on to replace that income where I was literally earning what I made as a teacher yearly, monthly through this industry. Never even knew that was a possibility. So I've seen a lot. I've been with probably about 5 different companies over the span of those 15 years. Built really big international business with the company that I spent the longest amount of time with, all the way from literally traveling to South Korea with translators, building, teams all around the world in languages I didn't speak, and really came to understand the importance of systems When you're building a business in Korea, when you do not understand a word that they're saying, you need to know that the teams are doing the exact same thing, the exact same way in order to duplicate and really, really scale your business. So what I want to tell you guys, because I know, and I love to see it in the chat, I know that a lot of you guys came from a previous company and had a similar experience, because I did a coaching call here already with Sarah and Ethan, and I heard a little bit about their background. I know some of you were connected to them before. What I want you to know is that I came from a similar experience where I was with 2 companies where I did okay. I did better maybe than most people do in direct selling, but by no means was I earning a 6-figure income. I was getting by with what I needed to do to get by. But it was when I came into a company where I really embraced systems that allowed us to duplicate and duplicate quickly that I was able to really explode my business and build to that scale where you hear the stories, where the Emily Beals, the top income earners. So I'm going to teach you guys one specific thing today that when you have a fast growing team, first and foremost, congratulations. You guys are doing amazing. You are growing super quickly. You've got your names on the map. People are watching this team. We are really, really excited for you guys, proud of you, proud of the work you're doing. And what I want to do as far as helping you guys out, coaching you a little bit, kind of wrapping my arms around you, because I am the director for field development for the Northeast region. So this is my territory, so to speak. Is I really want to help you embrace the fast-paced growth and all of the new people that are coming into your organization to really build as efficiently, as effectively, and as quickly as you possibly can. Does that sound good? Okay, so Derek says, I have no clue about direct sales. I just know I can be a goofy. Well, that's okay too, Derek. Brand new is perfectly fine as well. So what I want to kind of give I guess I would say a disclaimer here. So we are in no way, shape, or form a party plan business. We're not going to ask you to host, like a bunch of parties. We're not going to have you finding people to host parties. That's not going to be what I'm going to teach you today. What I'm going to teach you is how to get a new person off to a fast start where they are excited. They earn a belief check immediately. They have success right away. That gets them engaged and committed to their business. And you're able to duplicate every single person that you bring into the business. So what I'm talking about is basically, we call them GC socials. They're basically launch parties, so to speak. They're basically a way that you can bring a new advocate into the business and get in front of their warm market and help them kind of partner side by side with them in order to help a new person who really doesn't know what they're doing yet, doesn't really know how to tell the story of the products, the company doesn't have their own success story yet. Their upline or an upline leader in the team can really partner alongside them and share the story with the, let's say 5, 10, 15 people that they're closest to, and get them their first preferred customers and their first advocate or 2 to get started right off the bat. So I'm just going to kind of paint a picture for you guys about what this looked like for my team when I was building in the field. And I'm just going to take one sip of water here. I was like running around before this, cooking dinner, doing all the things. And I literally just sat down. So this system was taught to me by people that had a ton of experience in this industry. And when I started that business, I basically said, look, these people know a lot more than I do. And I'm just going to be what I would like to call coachable. I'm going to not try to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to listen to what they're telling me has worked for them, that has created 6, 7-figure incomes for these people. And I'm going to do what they tell me to do. Now, if it doesn't work, if I try it, if I put all these steps into action and they don't work for me, okay, then I will go back and try things my own way, but I'm going to do it their way first. So what the system they taught me was that when a new advocate comes into the business, we want to do what's called a game plan with them. In the first 48 hours, we're going to schedule this. The thing about it, when people join your business, they're the most excited when they sign up. They have the most hope. They have the most excitement for what's possible in their lives the moment that they order their kit. By the time a day goes by, or 2 days go by, or a week go by, every bit of time, I think I've read a statistic that's for every 24 hours that passes, they get 10% more doubt. People tend to not believe in themselves. They tend to have less confidence in what their abilities are. They look side to side, think, oh, that person can do it better than me. So as time goes by, they start to doubt whether they have the ability to do this business or be successful. So if you get them started right away and you get them that success, like before they have a chance to question whether or not they're going to be successful, that's really going to serve you well in this industry. So when you get somebody new started, you have what I call a game plan. It could be whatever. It's, you know, I'm sure you guys are already doing something like this. You're getting with this person, you're finding out who do you know, who do you want to talk to about CBD, who's on your list, who are the first people that you think you want to go to, who would make a great advocate in your circle, in your network, who do you think needs these products, and you're having them tell you a little bit about your list. As part of that game plan, you're having them schedule 2 GC socials to launch their business. I'm a big fan of having 2 different times. I just actually helped a gal in New Jersey do her launch because her uplines are in like North and South Carolina. So there was nobody here locally to help her. So I went up there and I helped her do her launch. I helped her plan for this. And she actually chose to do 2 events in one day. So she had like an 11 a.m. time and a 7 p.m. time, which I love, because it allows you to grab those people who work during the day. They can come in the evening. The people who don't want to give up their evening can come in the morning, and you don't have to set up. You don't have to clean your house twice. You don't have to set everything up twice. You have everything there already. You can kind of use the same, what's left over from the morning, you can use in the evening. And I'm going to show you a few pictures just to kind of paint a picture. I want you guys to get a visual of what this is, because I don't want you to think like cheesy, like home party, like Pampered Chef from like whatever, I guess it's the 90s. I wanted to say the 80s, but it's probably the 90s. I'm aging myself. But she sold, I want to tell you guys this. She just texted me yesterday from that day and from the follow-ups, because it's also the people you invite who couldn't make it. And now you've opened the door to the conversation with them. $5,000 in sales from those 2 events and the follow-ups that have come in. She's got 3 advocates that are going to be joining from those events. One being a chiropractor who has like some pretty big plans for a New York City office, a New Jersey office. So, and that chiropractor, probably she would never have kind of gotten him, except that she got him to come and hear like the kind of more technical spiel. You know, I was there and I shared a little bit with him. And that event will propel her obviously into a hugely successful start in her business. And this is what it looked like, because I want you to see this for just to kind of take the intimidation factor out of it for you guys. So I snapped some photos. These are not professional in any way, shape, or form. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see the pictures? Okay. So she happened to have a friend who was a mixologist. So she kind of had her friend, this photo here. She had her friend make some CBD cocktails with actually our jellies. So she has these mixers that's her company that she brands. And she melted down some jellies and made some CBD cocktails. So that was one little, thing that she just did as part of her, her theme. Just most of the event is just—
Hey, Vanessa, I'm going to interrupt you. I can't see the pictures. I don't think they're up.
Oh, they're not. Okay. So let's see here. What do you see? Do you see anything on my screen? How about now?
I see your screen with the attachment.
Wait,
like
it says my screen is paused. Your screen sharing is paused. That's weird. I wonder why. All right, let me try one other thing, because it says when I pull up the photo, it says your screen sharing is paused, and you did make me a co-host, right? I am allowed to screen share. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I was sharing the wrong thing. Okay, so here, this is what I was talking about with the mixologist, and she made these little CBD cocktails. And so for the majority of the time, this is going to be awkward to share now because I have to go back to open up the thing every single time. I just want to show you. It's just casual. Can you guys see that picture? No. All right, I'm not going to share all these photos, but I know exactly what the problem is that it's sharing. I have to share the preview and not where I'm opening it up. So you can see that now, right? Yeah. So just mingling, right? Just, some cocktails. She had wine. She had some simple appetizers. She had a display in her dining room, which I'll show you really quick. And people mingle for the first half hour. So the format of the event is, and just so you know, I'm going to do a training on this tomorrow. The power of consistency is actually about this same exact topic with a little bit more detail and some PowerPoint slides that you can tune into. You can plug your teams into tomorrow if you want to get, take snapshots and hear this step by step. Okay, so let me just show you this one last photo that I wanted to share, and then I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, so just a simple display there with some samples, some jellies to sample. She had some little shot glasses with Hydrate and Energize made up, and she had the roll-ons, the reduced cream. She had some collagen to sample. You guys can see that, right? Okay, all right, so I'm gonna stop sharing there. And I kind of served as her virtual upline, but typically I would want a new advocate to be there with their sponsor or with like an upline. Let's just say, I know you guys are, I would typically say director and above, but I know that you guys are a young team that's growing really fast. So you may need to do it with a team leader, senior team leader, somebody who's got a tad more experience than the person who's getting started, but having a support person there. Now, the question that comes up all the time is like, what if I sponsor someone in California? What if I live on the East Coast, they live on the West Coast, and I cannot be there with them? That's fine. We have technology for that. You can actually train your new person to be there live and in person with their circle of influence, and you can Zoom in. You can go or FaceTime in. You can go on their TV in their living room, see their guests can see you, and you can do your part as the sponsor, the expert over technology. And I'm going to get into like what that looks like a little bit. So when you sit down with a new person, leadership, to me, the definition of leadership is getting someone to do something that they would not have done without your influence. So you're going to have people that come into your business and they're ready to run, and they would do it with or without you. They literally don't need you. They're going to figure it out. They're going to find their own way. It seems like probably Sarah and Ethan are like those type of people. They probably didn't need anybody. If I'm sure that their upline is supporting them and supporting you all, but with or without anybody, they would have figured it out and found a way. But the majority of people that come into your business aren't like that. And 98% of people will absolutely do nothing if you don't exert leadership. I don't want to say over them, because we're not, strong arming anybody into anything, but it literally is your confidence, your posture that gets people to do something that maybe is a little bit outside of their comfort zone. So when I sat down with somebody new, it just became the culture of my team that, okay, welcome to the team. Congratulations. What we do is, let me open my, I had my planner. I still have this old fashioned big planner that I used for years. I'd love to help you get your business started. At this point, I'm typically meeting new advocates at somebody else's launch event. So let's just say I'm looking at Jacqueline here. She's big on my screen. So Jacqueline she's launching her business. She's having her GC social. She just got started in the business. And at Jacqueline's launch, I meet Brittany, and Brittany decides she's going to join Jacqueline's team. Well, Brittany has just watched me help Jacqueline. She feels the energy like, wow, look at this. People are interested in CBD. They're asking questions. Looks like she has a couple people that are going to join her team already. She's taking orders. There's great energy here. So Brittany obviously wants to get her business started in a similar way. So I would literally get with Jacqueline and Brittany, pull out the calendar and say, okay, let's see when Brittany can do her GC social to get her business started. She's signing up tonight. Let's look at next week. Let's look at next Thursday. You free? I'm free, and I can be there next Thursday or whatever, whatever it is, Saturday morning. And we're going to pick a date to launch Brittany literally on the spot. That's the ideal system. There's a team out in California right now that's using this system, and they are growing like leaps and bounds. They typically get about $1,000 to $2,000 in sales and an average of 2 new advocates from every single launch GC social that they do for a new advocate. And they've been really, they've been duplicating, I'd say, better than most of the teams that I've seen, because they're putting this system into place. So that's how you kind of that's where I want you to envision that, like every person you bring in then brings you at least 1 or 2 other people that are going to start a business, and you can get them launched and find some and that's not even talking about the customers. The customers are a given. You're probably going to get almost every single person to order something who comes to one of these events. It's the advocates, it's the people catching the energy of the business, hearing someone's success story that's not their friend, right? It's third-party validation that's really important for this, because the brand new person doesn't have a success story to tell yet, but they can introduce and edify their sponsor or an upline leader in their team and say, hey, I know that I don't know everything about this, but thank goodness I have Sarah and Ethan who are right here, with me and helping me get my business started. I'm going to literally get myself out of the way. I'll refill drinks while they're talking, but I want to introduce them and let them tell you about what's happened for them in the short 3 months they've been in the business, or whatever the case may be. And then the new person gets to step out of the way and hand things over to their sponsor or to an upline leader to share. Now, subconsciously, what this is showing to every person sitting in the living room is that they can do this business too. They're not alone. They have team support. They don't have to know everything. And there's going to be somebody who's going to support them on that journey. So the physicals of like, how does this go? You have your simple display, you have your simple refreshments. The first half hour is literally just mingling. If you're there as another advocate on the team, and what tends to happen as you're building in local geographic pockets is that if there's 3 or 4 advocates in that area, by all means, team up, even if you're sidelined to each other. So if you know that somebody is having a launch party in that area, invite the team. If somebody's got one prospect that they've been trying to get to an event, sure, come on over with your prospect, bring a bottle of wine and join in. And you end up with like 3 or 4 different advocates in that same room, and you all just pitch in and help speak to the guests, share your stories, help educate about products as you're mingling, warm up the crowd. So that's like the first 20 to 30 minutes, just mingling, and you can have your sample tables out. You can try some jellies. Then at like the 20 to 30 minute mark from the start time, you're going to have everybody sit down. You're going to gather, like I like to gather in the living room if that's possible, depending on the space. I've literally done these in huge houses to literally Manhattan, studio apartments where we were putting couch cushions on the ground. Everybody's grabs a couch cushion and sits literally on the floor. So it's not about the space. We've done them in the backyard. I've done these on camping trips. I've literally, I think, probably done some kind of launch event in every environment possible. So when you gather everybody, there is a format. And if you have your workbook, your getting started, your core success workbook that came in your kit, or you can download this in the back office resources section. There is on page 16, there's a launch event checklist and a launch event guide. And it might be, I think, this might be our first, no, sorry, this is the first version of the book. We're revising this, so I have like all the different iterations on my desk. Well, on one of the pages, I don't have the most recent version in front of me. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry, guys. It's on page 16. Oh, it's still on 16. Okay, same page. So it's still on 16. We took a little bit of the detailed information, so it's not so wordy, out of the book and put it in the back office. So the checklist is still available to you in its full version in the back office, but there's a basic checklist here talking about inviting, talking about what you do at the event, and then how to follow up. So when you sit down, the host is going to welcome everybody and do what they call, what I've called the hosting welcome. So the new advocate is basically 5 minutes or less saying, thanks for coming, guys. I'm really excited about this business because, so sharing why they started, maybe it was a product testimonial, maybe it's a business, goal that they have, but they're sharing a little bit about, from a vulnerable place, what they are excited about. And then they're literally introducing and edifying the quote unquote expert. So whoever's there to help them, whether that be physically or over Zoom, they're going to introduce the fact that they don't have to know everything and they have this support system in place to help them launch their business. And then they turn it over to the expert. Now, the senior team leader, executive, director, whoever it is, their job in this process is to share a little bit more of their story, because they have just a tad bit more experience, a little bit more of a success story, They're going to share, hey, this is what's happened for me. This is what's special about the company. Now, here is a place where you get to choose a little bit. So we have some videos. It's everybody's different preference as to whether they play a video. You could play Meredith's story video. You could play, the why CBD video, depending on who you're, the crowd. If they're more sciencey, if they want to know the specifics, if they're totally like, all about fun, you might want to skip that altogether. But you can read your crowd, but you could play a video and point to the fact that you have all these tools that allow you to just share information and hit play and get out of the way. And that just shows the ease of the system, but you don't have to. Some people just don't like to fuss with the video and they just want to talk, and that's okay too. So, the expert shares maybe for 5 to 7 minutes about their story and then the key points they want people to know about Green Compass, USDA certified, vertically integrated, 3 years old, the growth that we've had, just the things that really set Green Compass apart when you're telling the Green Compass story. And then you're just telling people how they can get involved with us. So I usually use a 3-part close, A, B, or C. So there's 3 ways that you can get involved with Green Compass. A, you could purchase our products at full price. Most people don't want to do that, but full retail price, and you can become a customer, try things one time. Most customers prefer to use our preferred customer program because you get a 20% discount. You get the ease and the convenience of getting a once a month auto delivery. CBD is not something you want to run out of once it starts really making a difference in your life. And there's certain perks and specials we'll tell you about for preferred customers. And then the third way to get involved with us is as an entrepreneur. So the CBD industry is poised to grow, and I give a few stats. So the CBD industry is poised to grow to about the last thing I saw was about $40 billion in sales in the next, I want to say, 8 years. It's ground floor, absolutely. Green Compass specifically is a 3-year-old company that has just done over $100 million in sales since our inception. So that's nothing to sneeze at. And I know that opportunity, one phrase that I like, you guys might want to write this down, but I use this at all of whenever I present, that there's a bigger T than the T in talent, and it's the T in timing. And so right now the CBD industry is an industry that has so much opportunity, and to be able to partner with a company that's already invested in all of the systems, manufacturing, technology, farming, and you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to hire the attorneys. You don't have to go through the legal, all of the compliance issues. You just get to choose which business kit fits your needs, $300 or $500, and you literally sign up in 30 seconds with your own website and you have a CBD business. And with what you do with that is up to you. So preferred customer, full price retail customer, or if you want to know more about the business, we can absolutely answer your questions about that. And that's it. And then literally we split back up. We let people try products. You go back to mingling. You go back to helping people like, oh, you have a sore shoulder. Let's try this. Let's use the reduce. Okay, what's best for sleep? What's best for this? And you break up. There's no like hard sell or hard close. We put out some laptops. Usually I always have every advocate who's going to come, bring your laptop or your iPad. And we let people know. So, Susie will be in the back corner. She'll be helping customers get their orders placed. If you're kind of figuring out what's the best product for X, Y, or Z, go see Susie in the back. She'll figure that out with you. If you want to know more about the business, how you make money, how you get started, stay in this area over here. I'm going to dive more into that with the people who have questions. And you just break people up and go back. Now, after the event, most people will place their orders. You'll have some people who have to run, got to leave early. And as the sponsor, if you're able to physically be there with your new advocate, you now kind of have a feel for who these people are. You now can hold their hand in the follow-up process. Okay, Steve left early, but he wanted this. This person was interested in the business, but had questions about whether her job was going to allow her to post on social media. So we should probably follow up with her about that. This person, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. But now you've got a group of like 10 or 15 people that you've exposed to Green Compass in the span of 2 hours that done otherwise, you would have had to spend 10 or 15 hours with individual reach outs with each of these people. My puppy just came in the office, so he's probably going to jump on me. So that's the gist of a GC social. So if you can start to get this system rolling in your group where every new person has a GC social and has, even if it's one. So, right, I love to have people do two, because then you get to capture the people who can't come either at one time, at another, or you can have one online and one in person so that you can capture the people who are not local to you with the online one, or the people who have a last minute emergency and don't make it, they can come to the Zoom, whatever the case may be. But you are guaranteed to get business for each new person who comes in. So they're going to be happy. They're excited. Nobody quits when they just have a friend join their team. Nobody quits when they just have, 3 or 4 customers sign up. You don't have people questioning whether the business is right for them when they're getting immediate business and having immediate success. The second part of this is that the reality of this is that not everybody stays long-term in your business, but some people are connected to some really great people. So each person that enters your business is either maybe going to be a leader, or they might be a link to a leader for you. So by getting with them right away and having them introduce you to their warm market, you get to find out who they know that you should know, possibly before they go. So it's a stupid cliche saying, but who do they know that you should know before they go? Get to know who they know before they go. But it allows you to, as somebody who's aspiring to be a leader, to get in front of the people that they might know and maybe link to one amazing person that ends up, taking this business all the way. Quick story for you before we, I'm going to open up for questions. So I have a friend who is a top leader in the world in this industry. She and I started in our businesses the exact same month with my former company, and we were accountability partners, running partners. It was her first time in network marketing. We kind of built our businesses for 7 years together, sideline sisters, not on the same team. And she's now with another company, but her and her husband are now in their second company in the top 10 network marketing earners in the world. She ended up joining that first company because she was invited to someone's launch party, and that she owned a Pilates studio at the time. And the person who invited her to this launch party was a long-standing customer that had come to her gym and, had personal Pilates training. And she was not interested in this, in the business, the product, anything. She just went to this person's launch party because she thought she owed her the favor because she's been a supportive customer of hers all these years. Well, she was the only person that showed up. Everybody else, whatever, canceled. There was not anybody that came except for her. And easily, that woman whose launch it was, could have canceled that event. But Mary, I don't want to say her name, but she came. So she came to the event and ended up joining that business and went on to build a team of 10,000 people in that company. She far surpassed her upline. So that lady who had that lunch party that night, she did well because she had this leg under her eventually, but she far out-earned her, outbuilt her, outranked her. But if she would have canceled that event because only one person was coming, she never would have signed up that leader who ended up going on to become one of the top earners in the world in network marketing. Here's my puppy, guys. You say hi. So I tell you that story because it doesn't matter if there's 2 people there. If there's one person coming, we still have the event. It doesn't matter if there's 25 people there. Every single person, you never know who you're going to meet. You never, ever know. So I always tell people, it doesn't matter when that new advocate calls and says, oh my gosh, I just had 5 people cancel. There's only going to be 2 people here. I don't know if it's worth your time. I say 100% it's worth my time. I'm here to support you. Let's do it. Whatever comes of it, comes of it. Now, there are keys and tips to kind of coaching your new advocate to make sure they get the best attendance possible, because you want them to have a good experience, obviously. And I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on helping people get good attendance. So first and foremost, they need to over invite. So if you want 10 people there, they need to invite 40. It might sound like a lot, but if you invite 40 people, you will get 10. If you invite 10 people, you'll probably get 2 or 3. Even if you get a great response, last minute things come up. People have, kids that get sick or things they forget about, car breaks down, battery dies, whatever, things happen. So you want to overcompensate for that. So that's number one. Set them up for success by having them make a list far bigger than the amount of people they want to come. If they think they can comfortably fit 10 people in their living room, they don't want to just invite 10. That's a very common mistake. Well, I can only fit 10, so I can't invite 30 because what if they all come? I always tell people they are not going to all come. I promise you they won't all come. If they all come, we will celebrate on the front lawn, like whatever, we will figure it out. We will go in the street, but they won't all come. I promise. And no one's ever proven me wrong. Second thing is you want personal invites. So you don't want to send a blanket message. You don't want to send an evite or a Facebook event. You want to, and I used to say, back in the day, you need to pick up the phone and call people. I still believe that's the best way, but I know that even, our society has shifted so much that I get it, that like text messaging is the common mode of communication. So I'm going to just say that a personal message. So if it's a text message, it's from you to that person. Susie, let me, tell you why it's important for me to have you at this event, why it would mean the world to me if you were there. Another quick story for you guys, real life, situation. Friend of mine, her name is Jackie. She was selling jewelry. She invited me, and I was in the business, right? I had been in the business for years already. She invited me to I would think it was like Leah Sophia at the time, Leah Sophia jewelry party that her mom was the rep, I think. And she sent me a Facebook invite, and I looked at it and I wrote it in my calendar. I'm like, okay, I'll go to her, her party. I put it in my calendar. She never called me. She never texted me. I just got like the blanket invite with whatever, the 30, 40 people that were on there. I could see I looked at the guest list. I'm like, okay, who's she inviting? Who do I want to hang out with? Who's coming to this event? The day of the event, I was just tired. I had little kids at the time. I had like 3 kids under the age of 7. My kids were cranky. I was just tired. And I'm like, I don't really feel like going out. I don't feel like getting myself dressed and going to this event. So I didn't go. I didn't show up. If she would have, but I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to let people down, right? If I commit to being somewhere, I will come. If she had called me or texted me and had a conversation with me and personally invite me to that event, I know, and I actually thought it through in my head that night because I was feeling kind of guilty, saying, well, she never really invited me. Like, I don't even know if she thinks I'm coming. Like, I have no idea. I know I had it in my calendar, but I have no idea if she really thinks I'm coming. But if I had personally committed to her that I was going to go to that event, I would have put on my big girl panties and put my hair in a messy bun, and I would have gone to that event because I committed to do it. But because she never personally reached out, I felt like I could easily let myself off the hook. So that's the difference between coaching someone to send personal invitations to people, one-on-one, why it means something if Isabella's there, why I haven't seen you in forever. I miss you. Come by, have a glass of wine, try some CBD or not, but I would love to see you. Just like getting people there. So coaching people on what to say. I even would sit with them. I would always do a kind of game plan, either on Zoom or local. If I was, close enough, I love to get together and do it in Starbucks or in their kitchen. So I could start to build that relationship with the new advocate and make the first couple reach outs together. Invite the first couple people together. These are the 1% things, like it's 1 millimeter difference that you can do as a leader that really make a huge difference. Besides, instead of just sending off your new person and telling them what to do and hoping they do it with them, do it beside them, hold their hand through the process of reaching out to those first few people. So over invite, personal invitations, and then follow up. So make it about the fun. I always made it about the gathering, and it was never a surprise. So you never want to come by for a girls' night and then, oh, surprise, we're doing CBD. You don't want to teach people to do that, but you want to make it about the fun. So it's like you can have a girls' night, or you can have the guys over for, football and pizza, and let them know that you're going to chat about your new CBD business. Like, I want to share a little bit about the CBD thing that we have going on. I think it's like a really good opportunity. We're going to watch the game. We're going to have a few, order some pizzas, have some beers, and, my mentor, my friend is going to pop in and share a little bit about what's happening in the CBD industry, but I'd love to have you there. If you're not interested, that's fine. Come by and hang out anyway. Getting people there is the only thing that the new person has to do. That's their job. Get people to show up. So your new advocate needs to get their friends, family, neighbors, whatever, acquaintances, coworkers, whoever they're inviting, to to just show up. And then you as the sponsor, if you're doing it right, will do the rest. Now, you won't always be doing this, because what you're doing is you're training up this new person that after a few of these and they're building their team, they're going to start to take that over for their own team. But in the process, you're going to do maybe a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more labor intensive as you start to build that duplication and the leverage. And then after the event is just as powerful as what you get at the event, because you will always have people that can't make it last minute. You will have people who have questions or have to leave early. So the follow-up happens where everybody who couldn't make it to the event, now you get to follow up. Now you get to book coffee dates or, phone calls or Zooms or drop off sample packs. Just, I have 4 discovery sample packs that came in my kit. How about I drop one off and let you try the product since you couldn't make it? We had so much fun, and I'm sorry you couldn't be there, but let me drop some stuff off for you to try. And now you work the follow-up list. Okay, so I'm going to look at the comments a little bit here and open it up. Take yourself off mute. If you want to ask questions, I am here for it.
I don't know about you guys, but I am pumped up, even though I'm highly uncomfortable with this because I have not done it before, but I am pumped up about this because this is how you take a team and you quadruple it in a couple of months. Because just think about this. If each one of us held a party, or not a party, a social, excuse me.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. If each one of us held a social and had 5 people, even do some math. Ethan's the math guy. I don't even know what that equals here, but that's massive growth for all of us. And in this business with this comp plan, I tell you guys all the time, this is about volume and building with each other. So the more that we work together to build this, the more business we're going to build in general. So I am highly uncomfortable with this, but I already have several of them scheduled, and I'm ready to do things that most people are not willing to do to get the life that I want. So I hope that you guys are all feeling that way here. And with this system, Vanessa so beautifully laid it out, made it sound very simple, but I immediately know that I'm going to sweat the first time that I do it, which is actually happening next week. So I don't know about you guys, but I am really freaking excited about this. This is like a system that is duplicatable for everyone. So who's got questions?
I have a question. So I've never done anything like this, and probably just like most people on this call, it's so far out of my comfort zone. I'm sweating right now just thinking about it. And when that happens for me, I really kind of get caught up on a lot of the logistical stuff. So if I'm helping a new advocate through Zoom and have the social at their house, is it like best for you to like stay on Zoom the whole duration, like after, so you can answer questions or anything, or?
No, so when you coach them through this process, they're gonna kind of like text you, all right, so half hour into it, after the mingling portion is done, obviously you're not gonna mingle with people like over Zoom.
Right.
So they're gonna do the physical mingling. They're gonna, snack, drink a little bit, whatever. Then once they come and settle and sit down in front of, most people have smart TVs these days. Like we used to have to bring like HDMI cords and like hook stuff up. Most people have smart TVs, which makes it a lot easier now to just go to, to the internet, to whatever browser and hook up to Zoom, but they would just text you you would kind of be on call. So, you know, the party starts at 7, hopefully around 7:30, they're going to be ready to sit down and they would contact you, but you would do a run through. I recommend doing a run through like, the day before, so you can figure out the tech stuff, the tech part of it.
Cool.
Let me just speak to the discomfort thing, because I love what Sarah said, that it's outside of her comfort zone, but she's willing to do what most people aren't to have the life that most people won't. It's so true. So the opportunity here is absolutely massive and unlimited, and it's there for the taking, you know, for anybody who wants it. And I did a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't, right? Like I did a lot of things, but I have never went back to a job, which is not to say that that's a bad thing if you have a job that you love. Just for me, I wanted to make choices for my family, and I actually decided to homeschool my kids. So I homeschooled my children all the way until my oldest were in 5th grade. Then they wanted to go to school. So now, you know, they've been in school ever since, but I homeschooled them. We got to travel together. We had absolute freedom. We built our dream home. We did a lot of things that were due to the choices that I made to do something that was outside of my comfort zone. And that was, it took work, right? I will not sugarcoat this for you guys. It takes work, but it allows you for a lifestyle that most people aren't going to have. Part of my story is that when we were building our house, I remember driving into my neighborhood and having a moment where I felt super out of place. On every next door to me, there is a doctor and one of like the highest earning, like female financial, she works in like in Manhattan, like she tracks terrorist laundering money, like in like financial security. She's one of like the highest ranked female people in the banking security system. On the other side of me, there are 2 doctors. Across the street from me, they're all doctors. Like everyone in my neighborhood and we were building new construction. So you kind of met everybody at the sales office, and everybody had these like careers that took them. They're paying off hundreds of thousands of dollars in education debt. They are, leaving their house at 5:30 in the morning and coming home at 8 p.m. at night. They're working like what I would consider really important, like serious jobs that earned really high incomes. And I was doing network marketing, and my husband is in social work. And like people would ask us what we did, and I would be like, I sell skincare, at the time. I just felt like, how did I get here? But I got here through this industry, which provides that opportunity to earn at the level of any profession that you could think of. That's like, you would think I need 10 years of school and I'm going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You have that opportunity with zero education, zero prerequisite talents or skills. But you need to have a little bit of grit. You need to have a little bit of fire in your belly that I'm willing to make this happen. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do something. And in a year from now or 5 years from now, I might not recognize what my life looks like, but it's going to be because I was willing to put myself out there. Not everybody is going to be willing to do that. And you will have, and some of you may fall into this category, and we love you and welcome you. And, we will love you where you are. I know I speak for everybody in the company, corporate, your leaders here. If you are not, that's not what you envision for yourself, and you're like, hey, I want to get my CBD for free. I want to have a few customers. I want to share my friend share code. Absolutely. There is a place for you here. We love you just the same. But I also know that you have a lot of fast growing, people who want to grow fast. So I'm kind of speaking, I used to be a teacher, so I'm teaching to the top. So you take from it what you want to and where you see yourself. And if it's not for you and you're like, those aren't my goals, then let the rest go. And just you've kind of fit in where you fit in. And we love you just the same. Okay, so who else has questions? Anybody else have questions?
I have a question. In your experience, did you find that it is better to plan these events with like a week or two, or is it better if it's more of an urgency, or like, I'm going to have this on Saturday and today's Wednesday?
What a great question. The less time, the better. Yeah. So if you give people, I always try to like, if the kind of the sequence of from when people sign up, the sequence would be, and this is how I really recommend that you launch people. So immediately the day of sign up, you do a welcome call or a welcome message with introducing. So the sponsor is introducing their new advocate to an upline leader on the team. And this kind of connects them to the leader. If you get your everybody on your team sending a group text or whatever to the first, director and, couple or senior team leader, executive team leader and director above them, then you're kind of alerting people, hey, I have a new advocate on the team. Then you schedule the game plan within the next 24 to 48 hours. At the game plan, you're booking their launch event. So if you book their launch event within the next week, I feel like that's a win. Most people will naturally try to procrastinate it. They will go, oh my gosh, like, no, we got to do it. Like, oh, I think in 4 weeks I'm free. You don't want to do that because people have no idea what they're doing in 4 to 6 weeks from now, or even 2 weeks from now. But if you say to me, what are you doing Saturday morning? I know if I'm free or not. So you absolutely, the closer in, the better. And you want to not make it, you want this to be duplicatable. So you don't want surf and turf. You want it to be simple. So you want to let them know, hey, go to Costco, grab some cookies, grab a couple bottles of wine. It's not about the spread. It's not about, fancy in this industry, simple equals wealth, fancy equals death. Like that's really it. You might have an amazing party that you put on. I've seen people do like such fancy things, but then everybody looking there is like, oh, this was lovely. I enjoyed myself, but I would never do this. I could never do this. Can't afford to make that fancy charcuterie. I never can say that word. Board. And I don't have time to do this. So you want to make it simple and you want to do it quick as possible. Plus it maximizes for them. If you really get people like wanting to hit their core rewards, the faster you launch them, the more time you have on the back end to make up if you don't get your 2 advocates and your 5 new PCs right away. And you want to get people into the habit of getting their 3 new PCs by day 15 of joining. So you want to have that first one for sure, within their first 2 weeks in the business, so that you can get the first 3 PCs, hopefully the first 5 PCs out of the way, and that you have time to, close the deal with the rest of the people if you need. Good question. Anybody else?
I have a question. Derek had said this. He has a lot of veterans, military friends, veterans, who are interested, he said, but they're on the fence because of jobs. Do you have any?
Because like their jobs don't allow CBD, you mean?
Hold on, I'm going to let him chime in.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
So basically a lot of them are, most of my vet friends who are like 100% disabled, they don't care because they mostly live in states that allow medical marijuana. But the ones who don't, they're like, well, I don't know, it's CBD, but I still give them the information like, hey, no, they basically breed the THC out of it, or as down to where it's like little to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still kind of, I don't know. Is there anything else as far as?
Well, you have to be careful because you can't make any kind of claims. Even a full spectrum product, even with 0.3% or less THC, somebody could test positive on a drug test. They could. And you can't be liable for that. You can't make any kind of claims that you guarantee that they're not going to, or anything like that. Even broad spectrum, the problem is the test. There's no uniformity in the type of testing out there. So a test could be, it could be pulling a sensitivity for some other part of the hemp plant that comes up positive, even if it's broad spectrum and has no THC. So you have to let people decide that for themselves, what they're comfortable with. So all you can do is point to like the veteran groups that we work with. We have lots of partnerships with veteran, groups as a company. Even we have a partnership with Fairways for Warriors, which is one of the big ones locally that we work with. So that's really all you can do is advise them, educate them, and then let them decide for themselves, because you don't want to be responsible for telling somebody something that then really affects their life. even though we know, it should be, it's federally legal in all 50 states, all you can do is give them the facts and then they have to kind of decide for themselves. Hopefully things will change, as things are changing. In New Jersey, I know now state troopers are allowed to smoke marijuana recreationally off duty. So things are shifting. But as far as like military and certain career paths, best you can do is hook them up with, I always just advise you to introduce them to somebody else who's similar to them. So networking across the company, meeting other people, and then being able to say, hey, let me introduce you to my friend Joe, who was in a similar boat, and then let them kind of share a story with somebody else or hear somebody else's story.
Another thing that I can say about this, because I have a big nurse following, so a lot of nurses are worried about this too, is that I encourage them to go and speak to their employer and let them know what it is and talk to them about the products. Because if you think about it, there's lots of medications that people take that are narcotics. And as long as the employer knows before you're drug tested that you are on this medication, then it's not a problem. It's when they find out unknowingly. So just honesty is best policy. The other thing that I want to tell you guys to inspire you a little bit more is that we are on the cutting edge of the CBD industry. This is new. So we are going to be here throughout a lot of changes throughout the country, the world, the company, all of that. We're going to be here to see it all. So we are going to actually not just see it happen, but be a part of the growth of how this enters the world. So just be really excited about that. Over the next couple of years, a lot of these things I don't think are going to be even issues, because they're going to realize that if state troopers are allowed to smoke weed off duty, I think CBD is probably a pretty good, thing that people are going to be able to use as nurses, as veterans, as all that stuff. So just be excited, because we are really just on the cutting edge. This is brand new. 2018 is when it was legalized. We're just in 2022. That is not a long time. So just imagine in another 4 years where we're going to be with this, and you guys will be hosting your own team calls with Vanessa. So just be excited about that stuff. Keep going, keep sharing, keep networking. I think that's a great idea that Vanessa just brought up. It's network. Go into the business hub and ask a question, like, are there veterans here? Can you speak to veterans? Do that, Derek, and get some testimonials there. I think that'll be really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Just know that we are very strict on what gets onto that page. So anything that's even closely non-compliant, you're not going to get a response on, because we have to approve every single response, and we make sure we're, as a company, are compliant. So a lot of people go on there and go, hey, who has a story about this or that, or, fibromyalgia or arthritis, and like that will never make it on there. So just for compliance reasons. But well, thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm here for you. I hope you're all part of the Northeast Region Facebook group. If you want to get another refresher on this, or if you have team members who couldn't make it, definitely join me on the Power of Consistency call tomorrow at 2 p.m. Because I'm going to go through all of this again on how to do socials and how to do these events on that training. And I'm here for you. So reach out if you need anything, if you need help. I'm hoping I'm going to get up to your area, or I don't know where you all live, but in August sometime. So good luck on the event that you guys have coming up next month. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. And thanks for coming, everybody. I'll put up the recording in the team chat, but have a good night. Bye.